Guys, welcome to this really important topic today. We're talking self-sabotage, and this has been something that's been creeping in with a few people recently. I've been through this myself. I still do to a certain extent now and again, but I know how to shut that voice up and continue with stuff. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. So self-sabotage, why you keep getting in your own way, that little voice in your head trying to hold you back, all right? So we're going to start with the awkward bit. You know what to do. You already know what to do. You've done it before. You've proved you can do it. So why do you start something, then stop it? And you probably just I actually don't know why that's happening. And that's a form of self-sabotage. That little voice, your subconscious, is pulling you back because it likes to be comfortable. And you're trying to do something that makes it uncomfortable, and you just have to keep going against it, and then eventually that will become second nature. But in the meantime, it's going to be hard work because that subconscious voice is like, no, let's do this, let's do this, let's not do a workout, let's eat that pizza or whatever it is, okay? So what does this actually look like in reality? Well, it's never a massive dramatic thing. It's always small and quiet things. So it could be a weekend write-off. You've had a really good week, Saturday and Sunday comes, and you feel you've earned a weekend off, and you kind of go for it. You don't have to earn a weekend off. You can have a nice weekend and enjoy certain foods without thinking you've earned it and without completely blowing the full previous week's hard work that you did before. There's ways around it, okay? The tracking drops. So you've lost a bit of weight. You've achieved a little bit of a milestone with your weight loss. So you stop logging, and then progress starts to stall and you don't know why. Because again, it's your subconscious thinking, I don't need to do it anymore. The missed workout conundrum. This is the big one. It happens to everyone. You miss a workout, so you think you'll miss them all this week because what's the point? I can't be perfect. So you're like, oh, bugger it. I can't be asked to do any of them. And it's all self-sabotage. And it's just that little tiny subconscious voice saying it's going to be all right, you don't need to do that. And we have to overpower that. So what I want to do in this video today, in this lesson today, podcast, however you're consuming this content, I want you to really think about the moment it happens. And I want you to, when you're in that moment and you're like, your brain's telling you, oh, you don't need to do a workout tomorrow, I want you to think, why is that happening? Why is that happening to me? And I'm not going to let it stop me because I'm bigger than that and I want to achieve something, okay? So if any of those sound familiar, and there's many other different options in this, but this is what we're looking at. And this is the bit that people really don't understand most of the time. You don't sabotage when things are going badly. People sabotage when things are going well. They really do. And like I said before, I've been in this boat, and sometimes now, so when things are going really well, I'm like, I'm always searching for a way to make it not go well. Does that make sense? And I'm sure you can really kind of resonate with that. A lot of people watching or listening to this can resonate with that. So why does it happen? What's going on in your head? Well, first up is your identity hasn't really caught up yet. So your brain is a version of you that it's used to. That's what I was telling you. It wants to be comfortable. It drags you back in. Comfortable isn't safe. It's just familiar. It's not a safety net. It's just a familiar net. And we can step forward out of that. All right? The all or nothing thinking, something every single person goes through. One bad meal, you think, sod it. Going to have a bad day, then it becomes a bad week, then it becomes a bad month, then it becomes your lifestyle, okay? That's not what we're looking for. If your plan needs to be perfect, it ain't ever going to work. So we need to really get our head around the fact that you do not need to be perfect, and you just need to be good most of the time, okay? Or making good choices or making better choices most of the time. And the last one is, and I think this is probably the biggest one, you don't trust yourself, or yet. You don't trust yourself yet even. So every broken promise to yourself is a withdrawal. So you miss a workout, you're proving to yourself that you're the person that misses workouts. If you do a workout, you're proving to yourself you do a workout. And if you do a workout when you don't want to do a workout, that's even more of a deposit into that self-trust bank account, okay? Do this enough times and you will avoid sabotage completely. You'll nip it in the bud before it even happens. And that avoids disappointment later, and you build more self-trust, and it snowballs. See how that can happen there? And that snowballs into something absolutely magnificent. So the things here that nobody's willing to say out loud. Food is your off switch. People talk about how they can stop eating in the evenings or whatever. It's because it's your relaxation switch. It's your de-stressing switch. So whether you're stressed, knackered, bored, lonely, it's the quickest way to feel better for about 5 minutes. You think about it, right? When you eat food, you feel good for maximum 5 minutes, don't you? And that's what it is. Your body wants that because it wants that dopamine hit to feel good. It's not you being greedy. It's literally a coping mechanism doing exactly what it's been trained to do for years and years and years. But you have to override that, okay? You're a bit scared of it working is another one. And this is someone nobody wants to hear, right? The attention, the expectation, having to actually keep the weight off forever, someone having to say no to drinks every now and again, having to be that person. I think this is what I mean by when I said that people only sabotage when things are going well, because I think they're almost afraid of success sometimes. And you might be sat there thinking, that sounds daft, but honestly, you think about it properly, and I think it could be something that's holding you back. You're afraid of that success. You're afraid of actually being that person, or you're afraid of maybe changing too much. So just have a little think about those things, okay? Really important we do that. The 10 p.m. test. Talk about this a lot, don't I? So who are you when nobody is watching? This isn't one on a Monday morning, everyone's buzzing, it isn't one when you're smashing a gym workout. It's 10 p.m. at night, you're tired, you're bored, maybe you're on your own, the cupboard's there, no one's watching you, no one's policing you to stop you eating that food, no one's holding you accountable at that moment in time. And that's where the real wins are made. That's the real arena. That's what was it in the Gladiators when they go into that arena? I don't know what it's called. Colosseum maybe? Who knows? But that's the arena you are in. And that's where it proves if you are going to build that self-trust long term. You can do it. If you can't do that right now, it can be done, okay? It doesn't need to be something that's you forever. You can change this. So we're going to fix it. We're going to build the floor first. First up, bang on about this all the time, never miss twice. I might get it tattooed on me somewhere, never miss twice, right? One bad meal is not a problem. Once you get this into your head and we can start to really kind of comprehend this, that's when things change for you. The spiral after that one meal is the problem. You miss a session, get the next one in. You have a bad meal, you make the next one a really, really healthy, nice, nutritious meal. No punishment, no slashing calories, you just get back to it. I did this last week. I went out drinking, felt awful the next day. Didn't let that stop me. I didn't cave into having all the foods and whatever and just sat on my ass all day. I got up, I went for a walk, didn't do anything amazingly taxing. I went for a walk, ate good food, back to normal. Monday, boom, back to it. Just like that, okay? Set your minimum standards. Not for your best week, for your worst week. If you can prepare for your worst week and think of like the worst case scenarios at times and prepare around that, then when it's a good week and that worst week doesn't happen, which 99% of the time it won't happen, you're going to be flying, aren't you? You're going to be more than prepared for everything else. So 2 to 4 sessions planned on your worst week. If you can do that on your worst week, imagine what you can do when that week doesn't come to fruition. Protein 2 to 3 times a day, hitting your steps, a couple of guardrails at the weekend. That is your floor. Set your floor, everything else rises above that floor. Then you take the wobble out of the situation. So, excuse me, we're going to stop negotiating with ourselves. Do not leave it open for negotiation. Training gets in the calendar. And again, I think people probably roll their eyes when I say this and they're like, oh, I can't be bothered or I don't need to do that. This is crucial. Get appointments with yourself in the calendar. You are your most important customer. You are your most important person in your own life. As much as we might want to think, oh, my kids are my most important people, my parents, my partner, whatever. You are, because if you aren't the best version of you, it makes everything else worse, doesn't it? See, you are the most important person in your own life, right? I don't care what anyone thinks about that, you are. And that isn't selfish, that's just you looking after yourself to be the best version to give to everyone else. It's the least selfish thing you can do, because everyone else benefits when you're in a great place, okay? Meals decided the night before. Steps have a target. With the meal thing, just going back to that, you don't have to plan a week's worth of meals and be perfect and follow these influences, this load of bollocks. Just plan the next day. And then that Monday evening, plan Tuesday. Tuesday evening, plan Wednesday. Get into MyFitnessPal. Put your foods in the night before so you've got a basic kind of meal plan there. I do it every day and I follow it step by step. It makes it so much simpler. I sit there on a Tuesday evening, plan my Wednesday. I put a dairy milk in the bottom because it fits in my calories. And the next day I'm like, oh, you know what? I can have a dairy milk today. It works. Do this shit, guys. It really works. Name your trigger. Friday night, stressful day, a compliment. The scale hasn't moved for a bit. What is that thing that just makes you think, I can't be arsed, I'm going to self-sabotage? What is that thing for you? Okay? Could be missed workout, could be missed meal, whatever. Stack the evidence. Confidence is not a feeling. People think it's a feeling, it's not. It's a stack of evidence to build the personality you want to have for the future. It is part of the personality you want. Small promises kept to yourself over and over again. Build self-confidence, build self-belief. That is how you learn to trust yourself again, because most people do not trust themselves. So we really need to figure this out and work it out and work on it. So we're going to reframe this. Self-sabotage is not a character flaw. It's not a willpower issue. It's just a pattern you have learned over time by teaching yourself this is fine. And we need to unteach ourselves, if unteach is a word. Patterns can be unlearned, okay? You're just running on an old system with outdated software, and it needs updating, and it can be updated, which is the great thing. So, action tasks from this today. Spot the pattern. Write down one pattern that you keep repeating and be really honest about it, okay? You already know what it is. Write down that one pattern that you repeat that doesn't help you. Name the trigger. So what usually sets it off? Specific situations, times, emotions. Name it. Write all this down. Pick one guard around it. So choose one non-negotiable this week to protect it with your life. And then message me with what it is. Because when you share it with someone, you become accountable to it. It becomes real. Share it with me. And do not just watch this or read this and just think, oh, I'll do this later. Do this now. If you've got 5 minutes or 10 minutes spare, do this now, but don't miss it. Because honestly, if you write this stuff down and you start to figure out why you're self-sabotaging, because every single every single person on earth at some point self-sabotage. Don't get how perfect you think some people are. They're self-sabotaging in some way. So it's not you. It's not a problem you've got. It's not a character flaw, like I said. It's just something that has been fed into society so much that we shouldn't achieve so much, or we're not worthy of achieving something. So we self-sabotage so we don't get to that point, because we don't want that attention, or we don't want to feel differently. Like, as much as you want to think you might want to feel differently, your subconscious is telling you don't. So we've got to overpower that and override it. And we don't need to chase being perfect. Please do not try and be perfect. I have conversations week after week where people are like, oh, I couldn't get all my workouts in, I feel like a failure, or I didn't track my food that day, or my weekend went to shit. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just don't let it carry on and go again. You know, nice and straightforward. I think we overcomplicate this and think we have to be too amazing. You don't. You just have to be good most of the bloody time, all right? Show up when nobody's watching, never miss twice, don't chase perfection. That's the whole game, okay? Hopefully, guys, this has made sense. I want you to, if you're watching this, listening to this, reading this, do these action tasks here now. Message me with what they are. If you're watching this, like I said, just write it down. Listening as well, write it down. If you're reading it, it's harder to get the context, but drop me a message. Let me know what it is. Anyway, have a good one. Take care. Speak to you later.